Hey guys, it's Kelly. Hey, I got page 19 of my mixed media mini art journal series done. It's called Distressed, Grunge-tastic. I love it. I miss my grunge side, so bringing it out. I got this done while I was waiting for some modeling paste to dry on a canvas. So I'm just showing you the paper pad that I used, my mind's eye. And I had already gessoed that page in my little bitty book. And I used some espresso distress paint in my little dabber thingy. And that is one of the few ones that didn't get dried out. They dry out terrible, but it's acrylic paint dabber. And that's an espresso, one of my favorite colors for this kind of style. So I'm just doing it on the edges of the paper because I knew that I was going to work on a separate sheet of paper. So in case you're curious about that paper pad, where I got that from, I'm looking, here it is. It's My Mind's Eye, Follow Your Heart, Be Amazing. That's the paper pad. So I decided I really wanted to do a vintage grunge distress ink day. So what I like to do on the outsides when I'm distressing the outsides like that, I like to go around it first in frayed burlap, which is a lighter color, and then again in vintage photo. I bring the frayed burlap kind of in more, and then the vintage photo more on the outside. I think that adds a more definition and shading to that distressed. It almost looks burned, and I like that. So, and I'm just drawing that real quick. This page took no time. I loved it, and I was lacking motivation. And guys, when you've lost your mojo, look at your pattern paper, cover it up. Only look at portions of it, and just really look at your pattern paper. That is a great place to find inspiration when you feel that you've lost your mojo. You'll get a lot from that. It always helps me, and I have so much. Well, for me it's a lot, but I have a lot of pattern paper pads, and I love them all. And it really helps me to get motivated when I'm feeling like I'm lacking my creative mojo. So here I am with my spiced marmalade distress ink and my peacock feathers. I didn't want it all brown. I wanted to add a little color, and I really like the spiced marmalade and peacock feathers together. So just really lightly with my old distress tool. If you go too hard, you're going to get, it's not going to look right. So I just went on it really lightly just to add some kind of color in the background. And I like that. And then I spritz it with water. And as you know, distress ink reacts with it. And I loved how the big blobs, I don't know if you could see that, but there's portions where there's a big blob of water on my paper. And I really like how that made it look even more distressed and used. You could spritz it with a real fine spritzer. Now my water bottle gets clogged, and I know that, and I'm okay with that. I like those big blobs. I think that adds to the uniqueness and randomness of it. So then I dried it up real good, front and back. Now you can see the back side of that paper. That's a good thing too. Those papers are all color coordinated. So if you're like, God, I don't know what goes with what, just turn to your papers. And that is the Tim Holtz. I sped this up because there's a lot of cutting. Again, I went to my pattern paper, and it's Destinations. It's a 12 by 12 pad that I have that I bought a while ago from Tim Holtz, and buy it from Tim Holtz anyway. And I decided kind of a Tim Holtz day for me, I guess. I have a lot of his stuff, and I love it, and I don't use it anywhere near as often. So I picked some clocks and decided I was going to cut those out, and then was going to stamp one. And I used all distress ink, guys. There's no archival ink on this one. Everything is distress ink. And it was nice to not worry about, what colors are going to move. I kept it all dry. It's everything ink. So I decided I wanted to stamp that cool stamp. That's one of my favorites. That and the rain guy. to stamp it directly on my paper. And then I mess with my clocks. Now, there's kind of like a rule of three, or odd numbers are more aesthetically pleasing to me. So once I stamped that clock, and then I had 3 of my clocks, then I was left with a set of 4, and it just wasn't looking right. It wasn't melding right together. So I cut another really cool clock, and I like that much better. So now I have a set of 5 instead of 3 on this itty bitty piece of paper. So, and now I'm using black soot just to distress the outside. Now you can see it's a white core paper, so you can see that white core. But so I wanted to get rid of that, and then I'm going to distress it with my handy dandy little distress tool that's there on my desk. I'm going to distress it, and then once I distress it, some of that white shows up. Now some of the white is kind of cool. It's nice little I don't know, contrast. I don't know. Some of the white shows up, but if you just hit it real quick with your vintage photo, or whatever color you like. I used vintage photo after I used a black soot. We just hit it with that, it kind of gets that real blinding white side of it down. But I didn't want to cover all of it. So just like on the paper, you can still see some of that white, but I think that adds to it. So it's a little too much white on my little clocks. So I've got to find my right sponge, and I get my vintage photo, and I hit that with that. And it's real subtle, but it does help make it look more distressed. I probably could have done it a little bit more of it. This was so much fun. I need to play with my distress ink more. I miss doing tags and simple things and just spitting them out really fast, and gives me a sense of accomplishment when I've been a little lacking in mojo. I wish the lighting was better so you can see the colors of the peacock feathers and the spice marmalade. Those, I really like that combination. And look at that book, that Happy Meal book. It's so, I hate that. I don't like the artwork. It's scary. It actually scared my kid. He's like, ew, look at it. Ugh. Anyway, don't look at that. Look at what I'm doing. So I'm just playing with my positioning. How I want it. Blah, blah, blah. Fussing, fussing, fussing. Until I like it. There we go. It's getting better. Almost. Placement of things. And then I said, ooh, I like that. And I pinch it and got to hold on to it. And then I can't find my glue. Actually, I was looking for like a piece of Scotch tape just to tape the back of it. And I couldn't find it. And I really liked how I had it laid out, so I didn't want to lose it. So then I fussed around and I finally found my my ATG gun. So, and I just wanted little dabs of, I just wanted to keep it in place because I really liked how it turned out. And I'm forever going, oh, I like that. And then I lose it. I take them apart and I'm like, wait, that didn't look the same. So there it is. Once you get your cluster together, you can just add little things of tape in there. So then I got that on there, and then I decided I'm going to continue to use my cool stamp sets. Something always stops me because I'm like, well, if I'm just stamping, I'm not really doing my own art. I want to make it my own, but you know, it is your own. You know, there's nothing wrong with using these stamps, and it doesn't, I don't know, I had a hang up about it for a while. I'm totally over it, obviously. So I stamped the top part right there, and then the bottom part with whatever ink I had left, and that was frayed burlap. I wanted a real nice light stamp and just more interest in the background. And then I decided to use my dude. Now that stamp with the guy and the with the umbrella dude and the sentiment, when you buy the stamp set, it comes together. I just cut it apart because I wanted to use those things for different things. But I really liked how it looked and how it blended nicely, so I used both of them just as they were intended on this page. I love how it turned out. So I just used black soot, slapped that sucker right on there. I wasn't scared. I went for it. Ta-da! There it is. I really miss my grunge side. I have a passion for that, and haven't done that for a while, so probably see a lot more of that here in the near future. There's my dude. I love him. As you can tell, I've stamped with him so much that he's just grossly stained with archival ink. But this time I'm using my black soot. And there he goes. And then I needed to highlight my words. I'm just using my white Jelly Roll pen and just adding some highlights here and there, just to call a little bit of attention to it. I probably should have embossed that, but you know, this is all about playing and having fun. And I missed my D with my white Jelly Roll pen. I missed it here, but I caught it and I went back and did it. So there I am, getting my placement down, and I forgot that I was zoomed in so far. So I kind of cut some parts out where I was just out of the screenshot. So slap some glue down, let it be done. Bam, there it is. Loved it. And then of course when I cut the edges off, my little area that I taped came undone. So I'm just adding glue down in the spots that I missed, giving it its permanent home. And then of course I got to distress the edge. So first I go over it with my frayed burlap, and then I go over it again with the vintage photo. I'm not sure if that's in there. Yeah, I caught that. Whoa, I'm zoomed in. So apparently I left that out where I hit it with vintage photo and distressed that edge after I cut my clocks. But I did, and there it goes. Page 19. Done, done, done. Grunge-tastic. I love it. I hope you guys do too. And there it is. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked it. I'm going to have a lot more to come. I'm working on a canvas thanks to Aaron over at Imperfect Impulses. More to come. Thanks, guys.